Welcome to this worship service at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Shelter Rock. We're here this morning on the traditional land of the Matinecock people. I'm Reverend Jaye Brooks, and I minister to this congregation along with the Reverend David Carl Olson and our lead minister, Reverend Dr. Natalie Fenimore. Our worship associate today is Sandra Frank. Now, as you can see, we are set up for the Messiah Sing today at 2 p.m. And hello over there in the far corner, because I'm here in this corner so that we can have everything ready to go. There is a lunch after the service, and visitors are welcome to have lunch on us. But then after that, at 2 p.m., join in the Messiah Sing, or just watch if you're not completely comfortable singing along. In this congregation, we seek to create loving religious community, encourage spiritual growth, and build a more just and joyful world. We gather each Sunday to celebrate the joys of life and find the strength to meet our sorrows. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that embraces the wisdom of all faiths and that values diversity. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's mystery and meaning. In this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike. Visit our welcome desk in the lobby to learn more about this loving religious community, or check online at our website. During this month, our learning and worship theme is wonder. Today, we explore the wonders of this season's holy days and of our own lives.
Each Sunday, we light the chalice of our religious heritage. We do this for our ancestors, who taught us through their various religious traditions and by their actions for justice and hope. We do this for our children, who are learning the traditions we teach and who learn more from our actions than our words. We do this for ourselves, so that we are inspired to remember our beginnings, reflect on who we are now, and spread our wings as we understand who we seek to become.
Rabbi Arthur Waskow wrote these next words as menorah lighting words for the 21st century. We are the generation that stands between the fires. Behind us, the flame and smoke that rose from Auschwitz and Hiroshima, from the burning forests of the Amazon, from the hottest years of human history that bring upon us melted ice fields, flooded cities, scorching thoughts, murderous wildfires. Before the nightmare of a flood of fire, the heat and smoke that could consume all earth, it is our task to make from fire not an all-consuming blaze, but the light in which we see each other more fully. All of us different, all of us bearing one spark. We light these candle fires today to see more clearly that the earth and all who live as part of it are not for burning. We kindle these fires to see more clearly the rainbow in the many-colored faces of life. Blessed is the one within the many. Blessed are the many who make the one.
Please rise or remain seated as you are comfortable for our words of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. This do we affirm and covenant with one another. And please remain standing and wear your mask when we sing our song of affirmation. From all that dwell below the stars, let songs of faith and hope arise. Let peace good will on earth be sung, through every land, by every
Please be seated. Today, we welcome into membership 12 people from various walks of life who have found their way to this loving religious community. I'll say their names and ask that they rise if they're comfortable doing so. New members who are participating online, you may also rise, even if no one can see you. We know you are there and have met you as you have attended the Inquirer sessions and been involved in other ways. So our new members are Alain Bodo, Chantal Bodo, Donna Catano, Suzanne de Oliveira, Hal Hilliard, Lisa Hilliard, Alice Jen, Kenneth Jordan, Frances Rinaldi, Elise Sheridan, Israel Samoas, Mary Lamana Ulrich, Clayton Martoello, and Shirley Reinfelder. Welcome, and if you haven't seated yourself, please be seated. And now I invite everyone to join in a responsive reading to gather these new members into this community. The words are on the screen. For millennia, human beings have gathered in faith communities seeking a higher purpose and deeper life than they could find alone.
We are grateful today for each one of you that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment to this community.
We never really know what combination of fate, relationship, good luck, or ultimate meaning brings people together in this world for any purpose.
But membership here calls each of us to celebrate that we are together and to regard each member as a potential friend and potential teacher.
We hope you'll allow yourselves to know and be known, to minister and be ministered unto, to love and be loved, as we work together to create community here and everywhere. And now everyone, as members of this beloved community, our commitment to UU values shapes our true purpose in being together. With love at the center, today we celebrate our covenant with one another. And now please rise in body or spirit and wear a mask as we sing, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are."
Come, come, wherever you are, wander, worship, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, whoever you are, wander, worship, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Each Sunday, we take a special collection to support a nonprofit group that serves human need. This month's offering will provide support for two organizations. The North Shore Soup Kitchen is a not-for-profit, volunteer organization established in 1989 to feed the hungry. 100 volunteers cook, serve, and clean up after meals. The other group is the AIDS Center of Queens County. Since 1986, the AIDS Center of Queens County has been the largest provider of HIV/AIDS services in Queens. It serves over 10,000 clients and 30,000 community residents on 5 separate sites. Both of these groups help to ensure that people have the food they need, which is always necessary and can be especially important during the holidays. Please make contributions to our website through PayPal or by text message. If you are on site, there's a donation box in the lobby as you leave the worship room. Please give from your hearts in the spirit of generosity and compassion.
Let's take now a moment of mindfulness. Even in the daylight, the stars are still shining, but most often we cannot see them. It's in the darkness that the stars seem to shine so brightly. Remembering this, let the light each of us offers into this universe shine most brightly for those who are in darkness. And let us seek out the light of others when the darkness crowds into our lives. The light is always there. Even if it seems hidden, it is always there within each of us. So now let's truly enter together into mindfulness, a shared silence. And in this sharing, may we experience together that feeling of the light of this community. That light is there. Together, may we practice shining our light so that we can more fully embrace the best of our humanity and give light to our families and our friends. And we practice shining our light so that we can reach out with loving hearts to strangers and welcome each one as if meeting a friend. May it be so. Now please rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn number 1002 in the Teal hymnal, Comfort Me, just the first two verses, and the words are on the screen. Please remember to put your mask on if you're going to sing.
Today's reading is The Purpose of Life by Zat Rana. This reading by Zat Rana, a freelance writer and journalist who observes the human condition from the intersection of science, art, and philosophy. The purpose of life is right in front of us. It is to create a reality we want to inhabit. At each moment, in every second of life, we are given a choice about how we want to conduct ourselves in this world. And though it might not always seem like it, each of these choices is of consequence. They each interact with culture to give it a new form, a form that we are responsible for creating by either doing what is right or doing what is wrong in that specific moment. A grandfather telling stories to a young boy may just nudge that boy to one day write his own stories, ones that help ease the burden on all of our minds. An especially caring teacher may infect a little girl with an engineering passion that later gives her life the vitality to make the breakthrough that permanently changes our relationship to outer space. And of course, both that boy and that girl may just inspire millions of other people who may ensure many millions more in a long, unbroken chain of interactions until perhaps one day the ideas of war and hate and poverty will be foreign to us all, or at least take a different form, one that is again a little kinder, a little gentler. This is light. After 13,799 billion years, human light emerges. This light may be so infinitely small as to not be of consequence. And we may not be the only carriers of it in the universe. And it may not even mean what we think it means. All of these could be true, but ultimately, we don't know. All we know is that it's here. And the only way to find out is by spreading its brightness.
There is a family photo of me when I was about 12 years old, bundled up in a winter coat, peering through a telescope, and standing on a ladder to get a better angle on a lunar eclipse. I have always gazed up at the stars in wonder. There should be a slide of stars. There we go. And I've seen that Milky Way. It is gorgeous, standing here on this earth, looking up at the stars. And that is what the Milky Way looks like from Earth, but this is what the Milky Way looks like from space. We can see the beautiful spiral shape of our galaxy. And that spiral shape is really important. It's something that was discovered, that spiral, a long time ago by a mathematician called Leonardo Fibonacci. Oh, yeah, there's his symbol, a symbol for how the mathematics of the spiral play out through numbers. About 1200, Fibonacci popularized Hindu Arabic numbers in Europe introducing Europe to the zero. That was a step forward in math, a big step. He also described this interesting series of numbers that are made by starting with 0 and adding the next number. So 1, 0, and then 1 plus 1 is 2, and that equals 3, and then 2. Wow. Okay, I always get this wrong. And then 2 plus 3 equals 5, you see the 5, and then 3 plus 5 equals 8, and so on. And the numbers come out to 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and I won't go on, but they go on. It's called the Fibonacci sequence. An unusual feature of the Fibonacci sequence is that each number and its neighbor are in a relationship that mathematicians call the golden ratio. 3 and 5, bear with me, 3 and 5, for example, add up to 8. 8 divided by 5 equals 1.6, and 5 divided by 3 equals 1.6. This is the ratio, 1.6. So if you plot a series of these Fibonacci numbers, you get this golden ratio that forms a spiral. And it's the spiral we recognize in seashells. It's in plants. This is a cactus. And it's in a rose. It's even in our DNA. Isn't that wonderful? And perhaps most remarkably, from the microscopic to the macroscopic, these spiral patterns are throughout the universe. It's not only in ourselves, but in our stars, in galaxies all across the visible universe. So this is a relatively new picture of the universe. Actually, it's just a picture of a pie slice. So I want you to imagine that you are actually standing at the very point of the pie slice at the bottom of the slide. This is as if we are standing on our Earth and actually able to see out into the universe. And each point in this diagram, which was developed, it's not a diagram, it's actually a composite photograph. It was developed over 10 years of taking photographs with telescopes that look far into the universe. And each of the dots is a galaxy. So, it's a big place, our universe. And what to me is one of the more extraordinary things about this, you see the sort of rainbow-colored lights at the very top that arch over. That's the point that is actually the beginning of the universe. But what's important is that it looks like it forms a border or an end, but we don't actually know because we can't see beyond that rainbow arch because our telescopes can't actually look past beyond the age of our universe. So if there is something there, we simply don't know. How wondrous. And now we come home again to the Milky Way, our galaxy. Next slide, please. Our little corner of the universe, big as it is. This is right at the point of that pie slice diagram. And in our Milky Way galaxy, we'll explore once again the mysterious star of wonder that appeared in the East more than 2,000 years ago. Thank you for those slides. The star in the East, the star over Bethlehem, repeats a phrase used in Greek mathematical astrology 2,000 years ago. In the East is a literal translation of a Greek phrase. It meant very specifically when a planet would rise above the eastern horizon just before the sun appeared. Then moments after the planet arose, it would disappear in the bright glare of the sun, as stars do. and planets in the daylight. And so, except for a brief moment, no one could see what the Greeks called the star in the east. East, of course, because that's where the sun rose. Because planets are visible at some times but not others, a planet that had been invisible in the night sky for some time would again become visible briefly just before dawn. This reappearance of the planet, called the star in the east, had astrological significance for the Greeks. When a major planet like Jupiter returned in this fashion, it was considered especially significant for anyone who was born on that day. And the planet, called the star, may have even seemed to stand over Bethlehem 2,000 years ago, when the difference in the Earth's speed of orbit made it seem to change apparent direction from westward to eastward as if it were hovering. I don't completely understand that explanation. But what I'm taking from this is that there actually may be a scientific explanation for what we now call the star in the east, the star of wonder, the star over the stable in Bethlehem. The convergence of these events, the rising in the east, the return of a major planet that seemed to hover over Bethlehem, is something that well-informed scholars would have noticed. They may have concluded that the star signaled a miraculous birth, or at least the birth of a very important person. So perhaps they went looking. And this star of wonder may have been the convergence, and the scholars may have been the wise ones in the nativity story. The wonder in this explanation, for me, is that no matter what happened exactly, a journey some ancient scholars actually undertook may have been part of the events that occurred so long ago and formed the basis of a part of the story that is still told today. I think that's wondrous. And another wonder celebrated in December is Hanukkah, and the light that burned for 8 days when it should have failed after 1. Now, I don't have a scientific explanation for that, but there is an interesting story behind the story. When Judah Maccabee took back the temple in Jerusalem, claiming it again for the Jewish people, there was only enough ritually purified oil to last for a single day. In the story that's commonly told, it took a messenger 7 days to get more purified oil. But another way to get purified oil is for a temple leader to purify the olive oil. Judah Maccabee could have done that because he was a priest as well as a war leader. But that was the problem. He wasn't just a temple leader, he was a warrior who had just come from battle. When they took back the temple, when he walked in, he'd been fighting. Hand-to-hand, swords, you can imagine. And before he could conduct a ceremony to make the oil ritually pure, he had to go through a purification ritual himself, a ritual that takes 7 days. So, think about this. Everyone's instinct must have been to light the lamp immediately, to rededicate the temple. But maybe Judah Maccabee, warrior, victor, all-around tough guy as I am imagining him, perhaps he took 7 days to become ritually pure, and then he purified the oil. Now, that's not an explanation for the light burning for all 8 days. Did 1 day's worth of oil burn for the additional 7 days? Did they burn a little bit of the oil each day to keep that lamp burning, at least symbolically? Maybe did they use a little cooking oil? Did someone sneak in at night and refill the vessel that was lit with cooking oil? Well, the other possibility is that there was a real miracle. But perhaps, and this to me is a great wonder, Judah Maccabee did take the 7 days for his own ritual purification. And so, setting aside the scientific question of the flame that burned too long and the other explanations that might have caused it to last for 8 days, the miracle under the story is possibly that this warrior rooted himself in his faith and his tradition, taking the time for the ritual that would cleanse his spirit. And so, the real wonder of Hanukkah may have been the light that burned inside Judah Maccabee, the heart of the relationship, the Jewish relationship to God. Maybe that's the wonder. We humans ask a lot of questions. We wonder about things, and we experience awe and wonder. We ourselves are wonders. In the most remarkable of circumstances, humans, or at least some of us, defy expectations. We explore, we dream, we sometimes do the seemingly impossible, and we learn things like the earth is actually not flat. Ships don't fall off the edge of it. Heavier than air flight is a reality. Rockets can routinely reach escape velocity. And you know, we don't just gaze up at the stars, we take photographs of the spiral Milky Way galaxy, and we know it as one of many. We take photographs that reach all the way to the time at the beginning of the universe. We create electricity and light our lights by storing sunshine, starshine. In this immense universe, on this tiny planet, life exists. We human beings exist. And with awe and wonder, we seek to explain the miracle of existence. We celebrate holy days with family and friends, and we often welcome people who may be the strangers who come and join us in our homes. And we love. We kindle lights in the dark again and again, despite all the odds. And this knack of human beings for wonder is definitely something that is in me. And for me, the more science I know, the more I find life wondrous and mysterious and miraculous. Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist and 21st century incarnation of the three scholars who followed the star, says that the atoms of our bodies are traceable to stars that manufactured them in the core of the star, and then when the stars exploded, these shed and spread ingredients all across our galaxy billions of years ago. We are literally, biologically connected to every other living being in the world. We're literally connected to all the molecules on Earth. And at the atomic level, we are literally connected to all the atoms in the universe. So we are quite literally made of stardust. I ask you this question. What if we found an old manuscript with a creation story that said the stars themselves came down to Earth to live as human beings? Would we laugh? But the stars did come down. It's not just a story. They came to Earth, and they're in us today. That spark of light is not just metaphorical. The light is in us, and it is us, each of us. Each of us is a star of wonder. So let's celebrate this wonder as we sing together hymn number 235, Deck the Hall. The words will be on your screen. Please rise as you are able and wear your mask to sing. Be seated. If there is a single theme that emerges from the many celebrations that take place in winter, it's the importance of light. Humans need sunlight. They need warmth. They need love. And the candle flame is an enduring symbol of all these things. The winter solstice will soon be upon us. In the Northern Hemisphere, the longest night. So let us cherish the magic of light, the wonder of light. Whenever there is sadness, whenever there is gloom, whenever there is evil, we have it in us to find a candle and light it. No matter how small the candle, no matter how insignificant our own personal light, one thing is certain. Even one candle dispels the dark.
Now we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.